generation. Fans here have been since 6 o'clock in the morning getting ready for this game. And the security here is doubled. They are taking the threats of fan misbehavior very seriously. Philadelphia Police Department undercover around the stands, in the stadium, and on the field. Anybody caught throwing anything on the field, they'll have their tickets revoked, their street licenses revoked, and they will be prosecuted. But you can tell these people are already juiced up, Boomer. I have a feeling a lot of these people are from Ron Jaworski's neighborhood.
They might be. They might be, Sal. Thank you very much. Sounds like some Yingling has been going down the Schmitz. Look, they're playing football at 4:15 Eastern. T.O. is playing football for the Dallas Cowboys, trying to win a very important game. How will T.O. handle all this? We've seen what this is, Tommy. We were there last month. We know what this is. How's he going to handle it?
We were there last Monday night, and I think that really, you know, my feelings about T.O. pretty well documented, but I think that he is undeserving of some of the treatment that he is going to get today. And you know, I referenced Monday night. It's not all Philadelphia fans. I think for the most part, they have great, passionate fans. But there were a group of fans, and because, you know, Michael Irvin, former Cowboy, is with us, I'm guilty by association because I care about Mike. The treatment that we got was horrible. You shouldn't be able to do what was done to us because you paid $80 or $90 to go to a football game. I believe for T.O. that will be magnified now 5 to 10-fold today. And I don't know if anybody is ready to deal with that for a 3-hour, 4-hour period.
But I do believe, and I totally agree with everything you say, that T.O. may be more prepared to handle it because T.O.'s been vilified everywhere he goes. So let's be real. But the thing I am concerned about is the rest of that football team. I don't know if they have ever seen anything like they will see today. And how much will that affect, not T.O., but the rest of the Dallas Cowboys young football club?
It's called home field advantage, guys. That's exactly what you want. I understand the passion of the fans of Philadelphia. They want to win. They feel that by intimidating the opponent, particularly the Dallas Cowboys, that they can share in that victory. And I agree. It's a rough place to play. I was booed by 70,000. I was cheered by 70,000. A lot of times in the same game. That's the ebb and flow of the passion you have with the Philadelphia fans. But they feel that they're going to determine the outcome of this game by intimidating T.O. and the Cowboys.
Josh, you know as well as I do, the fans have never won or lost a football game, and they never will. Now, I'll tell you what happened. You want to take them out of the game? Then dominate them on the field. That's what the Cowboys have to do. If they don't, then it's really going to get ugly. If the Eagles get up on the Cowboys, duck.
Coach is right. Now, the best way for the Cowboys to do it is to put up a jiffy 14 points and put that peanut butter in there.
I'll say this. You're talking about passionate fans. Bringing pill bottles to a game, chanting OD, OD, OD is not. There's something.
You're acting like this is only in Philadelphia. This happens all over the country. So
it does. You're right.
Yes, it does.
Not.
Yeah, and you know, you want to say there are always a few fans that are going to be a little bit over the line. The majority, 99.9%. Hey, Coach Ditka and I had a set over there. We had a great time. The fans were singing Kumbaya with us.
I think a lot of the time, the more we talk about it on these desks, the more we talk about how the fans are, a lot of times it provokes some of the people to try to prove up to what we talk about on the desk, and they do act a little bit, a lot of bit out of line, and I was a victim of that the last Monday night. So, you know, Tom is absolutely right, Jaws. You have too much love. You can't be objective on the situation.
We still love you.
Speak up, fans, but act accordingly. The only thing missing is the vet here, Jaws. That would really add to it. Mort, I mean, that's one game. We got lots more with this as well. What's shaking at some of the early kickoffs around the league?
Well, let's look at Green Bay. Rams at the Packers. Rams are 3-1, and you would think this is a gimme, but it's at Lambeau Field. They've struggled there, and Brett Favre, despite that neck injury, will make his 226th consecutive start. But here's a surprise. Favre will have favorite receiver Donald Driver, whose sore ribs were expected to keep him inactive today. But Driver was reassured by an MRI Friday that he does not have any cracked ribs, and he'll start with Corin Robinson ready to jump in there. Here's another surprise for Green Bay. Running back Amon Green is inactive again with a hamstring strain. Even though he missed Monday night's game at Philly, the Packers thought he would go against the Rams, but it's Fernand Morency as the starter again. Lions wideout Roy Williams, he's having a heck of a season with his hands and mouth. This time, Williams said fellow former first-rounder Mike Williams should get more time. And yes, Mike Williams did make more progress in practice this week, and he could get a little more game action against the Vikings. The Colts were hoping Adam Vinatieri would be able to at least kick field goals a day, but he is inactive again with the groin injury, so Martin Gramatica was re-signed again to handle it all. Colts coach Tony Dungy says he has great trust in Vinatieri's honesty about those injuries. The Colts face the Titans, who have put down Chris Brown as inactive. They will start Travis Henry and get a good dose of Lindell White in there. And one note on that Dolphins game. They are missing Ricky Williams. They've activated Sammy Morris. He'll share time with Ronnie Brown. Let's go to Jaws for start 'em and sit 'em.
Hey, thanks, Mort. You're going to want to start Rex Grossman this week. The Bears' offense is starting to hit on all cylinders. Rex is averaging 8.5 yards per pass attempt and has thrown 8 touchdown passes. Outstanding. You're going to want to sit Willis McGahee. This may surprise some people, but Willis McGahee going up against that Bears defense is going to have a rookie right guard in Duke Preston who's going to have to block Tommy Harris. That ain't going to happen, folks. Sit McGahee this week. Start Deshaun Foster against the Cleveland Browns. When you look at the Browns defense, they're giving up 4.8 yards per rush. John Fox loves the power running game. You will see it this week from Deshaun Foster. Sit Ben Roethlisberger against the San Diego defense. The Chargers defense has been magnificent. Ben has been struggling. But then you look at the Chargers D. Only 43% complete against that defense and 4.7 yards per attempt, the best in the NFL. Ben's in for a tough day. And start Brad Johnson. Not that Brad Johnson's playing so great. The Detroit defense has given up 10 touchdown passes, the most in the NFL. The quarterback rating against that defense, 121.9. Wow, any quarterback would love to play that D. And sit Derek Mason against Tommy's beloved Broncos. They are fast, they are quick. The Ravens' passing game is struggling. I believe they will struggle against that fast flow, quick Broncos defense.
All right, Jaws, thank you for a look around the league. And let's go to Chicago now, where the Bears are undefeated at 4-0. They're almost unpenetrable. 29 points allowed so far. Last week, 11 teams allowed more than 29 in one game. And at Soldier Field, it's now 9 of the last 11. The Bears have allowed only single digits to their opponent. One man who can certainly appreciate the way the Bears defense is playing is Buffalo head coach Dick Duran, who ran the Bears for 5 seasons, winning the NFC North division, you remember, back in 2001. His Bills are 2-2. They get a nice defense. They get the league's leading rusher in Willis McGahee. They got an improving quarterback in J.P. Lossman. Enough to solve the new monsters of the Midway and the sack leader, Tommy Harris, who already has 5. Well, Brett Favre calls Harris the new Warren Sapp in his prime. Josh Elliott tells us that Harris is just as impressive off the field.
Who is Tommy Harris? It's a simple question, but without any easy answers. On Sundays, he just might be the best player on the Bears' NFC best defense. His 5 sacks through 4 games are tied for the league lead, and already a career high for the 2005 Pro Bowl pick.
Electric.
Pressure, down he goes!
He does things right next to me that I don't think that I could even do.
Tommy has that combination of power, strength, athletic ability, and he has a motor. That's normally what determines the good from the great players.
Ring it up, Tommy Harris!
When it's time to make a play, you know that it's probably going to be Tommy because he's that kind of player.
Tommy Harris again. He is off to one heck of a start.
Then again, Harris is more than mere midway monster, even on Sundays. Just look past the face mask. Psalm 91, which in part reads, 10,000 at your right hand, near you it shall not come. For Harris, it's emblematic of the faith that compels him.
He's a man who believes in faith. He doesn't leave anything to chance. He prays about a lot of things, and it rubs off on a lot of other guys, who are kind of walking the line.
My father being a minister, it helped a lot. I've seen a lot, the way that my family carried themselves as people, as being moral citizens.
He does a great job of, not necessarily pouring religion on you, but, just giving you some good insight about it and how it can help you.
He was as devout and talented at Oklahoma, where he was a two-time All-American and won the Lombardi Award as a junior in 2003 before leaving early for the NFL. But it was a private meeting with childhood idol Reggie White at an Oklahoma City church that would define his stay at OU.
Just to get a chance to sit down and meet him was great. We just became real good friends. He was more of a mentor to me, more than a role model.
I know who Reggie White is, and I knew what he stood for. And he was a man of character, too, a Christian man of character. And Tommy, I'm sure, gravitated to him because of that.
He taught me just as hard as you work on the field, that's as hard as your spiritual life should be.
Impacted by White's sudden death in December 2004 and inspired by his mentor's message, this past May, Harris visited the war-torn African Republic of Liberia, where he helped build an orphanage.
It didn't really change me. It enhanced the person that I am. It made me want to do more of everything.
I'm sure it was a life-changing experience for Tommy. As far as seeing a change in him, that has to change you when you go to a country like that and see how others live.
It helped me out the way I view people, the way I view homeless people, that you can always give more. If you got it, you can always give more.
All right, thank you very much, Josh. Tommy Harrison, as you can see, an impressive person, obviously an impressive player. The Bears, an impressive start, an impressive defense, to say the very least. So, Coach, gang, the Bears the best team in the NFC. They got the best record.
Absolutely, and they are because they're a balanced football team. They play great offense. They play great defense. They're finding their running game. But most of all, I think people discount the special team. Great punter, great kicker, Robbie Gould. Right now, they're returning the ball good, and they're covering good. So, Coach, they got everything going.
Coach, I'm over here coaching. They are absolutely not the best team. Yeah, they are playing well, and let's give them credit. But I have to project what teams will be, because we're talking about going into the playoffs and possibly the Super Bowl. And right now, it's the great team that I picked in the beginning of the year, the Dallas Cowboys. When T.O. gets his football legs up under him and he gets some time, he gets some flow with this football team. I watched what Steve Smith did to the Chicago Bears last year, and I can only imagine what T.O. will do when he gets healthy and ready and his football legs up under him. The Dallas Cowboys, Coach.
Did you say Cowboys, really?
That's what I said, Coach.
You're delusional, too.
Coach, it's the Cowboys.
All wide receivers are delusional.
Coach, come on, Coach. It's the Cowboys. Do you not believe that a good wide receiver is the thing that can hurt?
Tommy Harris gets done with Bledsoe, he won't know where he's at.
But if Tommy Harrison, if we double team him and he doesn't get back there, what happens to that secondary?
Johnson will.
Because that secondary is not that good, Coach. That secondary cannot come.
Remember what he said? You can't go back on it.
I won't go back on it.
What are you going to say after they get beat by Philadelphia today? Huh?
We're not talking about that.
All right, okay.
Boom, it's back to you, Boom.
All right, fellas. The last time the Bears are 4-0, Mike Ditka was head coach in 1991. Brett Favre left that a Monday night game in the second half with a mild concussion, pinched nerve in his neck. Not enough to prevent Favre, as Moore told us earlier, from making his 226th straight start today. That start will come for the 1-3 Packers in St. Louis, where the Rams of new coach Scott Linehan are one of this season's early surprise stories. Mark Bulger, Pro Bowl quarterback, has now thrown 186 straight passes without an interception. That goes back to last year. And the Rams D, under the tutelage, we should point out, of coordinator Jim Haslett, has gone hand in hand without Bulger throwing a pick. The team is +10 in turnover ratio, best in the NFL. The Rams have even made our Steve Young restless.
A lot of people are asking about the St. Louis Rams. They're tied for the division lead at 3-1. Are they going to be there at the end of the year? I say no. Too many deficiencies on defense and at offensive line. They'll beat up on the lower half of the league, but any great team that comes to town, they're going to get beat. This team is at least a year away, although I do like what Scott Linehan has done in righting the ship after the Mike Martz drama of last year. This Albert Hainsworth thing is really bugging me. What is this, professional wrestling? No, this is the NFL. Yeah, inside the game, there are some things that go wrong, some late hits, even some malicious hits with the helmet, people leaving the helmet, there's some fines and so forth. But this was a guy that was, after the play, walking back on the ground with his helmet off, and he gets stomped on with 30 stitches, 5 games, fine. In my mind, it's a season-long suspension. I don't care how contrite he was. Who's my most improved quarterback this season? It's Rex Grossman. How about the most improved in the last 30 days? Yeah, he's made a couple of mistakes, but he continues to make the big throws at the end of games to win them, like in Minnesota a couple weeks ago. Credit Ron Turner, who's calling plays, for his faith in Rex to continue to carry the load. If he keeps this up, he'll be the first Bears quarterback to make the Pro Bowl in the last 20 years since Jim McMahon. After watching the sins of young Charlie Fry and Vince Young last week, I thought I'd give you a couple tips from the quarterback Bible. As you break the pocket, you draw a line from your feet to the back of the end zone. And Charlie, you never throw it on the other side of that line until you get a little bit older. And as you work towards the sidelines, Vince, you never deliver the football leaning back or off balance because that ball floats and it gets intercepted. If you're going to deliver the football on the run, you deliver it down and away from a defender with authority. And now as you work all the way to the sidelines, if you get here, you've pretty much eliminated any chance to throw the football other than Charlie. If you want to throw it to the cheerleaders and come back on second down.
All right, Steve, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow night in Denver. Very good game tonight on the West Coast, San Diego. The 2-1 Chargers wearing the best uniforms in all of sports. Those throwback powder blues will host the champion Steelers. If they wore them every week, they'd be in the Super Bowl. Trust me. We can tell you firsthand that in San Diego, the grumblings have begun again because the Bolts lost another tight game. But Coach Marty Schottenheimer is determined to let young quarterback Phillip Rivers loose little by little as the season goes on. Now, that approach worked for Bill Cowher and Ben Roethlisberger, who went 27-4 and won a Super Bowl in their first 2 seasons. But this year, a little different for Big Ben. You saw right away against Jacksonville in his first start, just floated the deep balls, even the sideline passes, and then decision-making not in midseason form against the Bengals, still with a chance, picked off in the end zone. Tonight's storyline, though, will the champions and Big Ben regain their bite? The champion Pittsburgh Steelers are 1-2 and coming off a bye. So will they regain their bite starting tonight? Tom?
Well, will Big Ben regain his form is what we're talking about. And I think that it can be helped along via game plan. Bill Cowher, when this guy is at his best, gives him a strong, solid running game, the 35 to 40 runs, not the 35 to 40 passes. If you keep Ben down around that 20, 22, 23 pass area, you can be successful. They play outstanding defense. They've got good special teams, but the running game has got to be there. And they miss Randall L. They missed those 2 or 3 plays during the course of the game, and they missed Jerome Bettis. So, you know, those things now have to be put into the equation.
It'll be tough for Big Ben to get back in rhythm tonight against that Chargers defense, which is magnificent. I also think not only the number of throws that Ben has in the game is important, it's going to be the kind of throws. When Ben is at his best, the play-action game is working. It's at either-or read. You're not reading the full field. So he can go bang, bang, the ball comes out of his hand. Also, Ken Whisenhunt in his play selection. Don't give him them full field reads. Give him half-field reads again. Back foot hits the ground, ball comes out. So offensive coordinator Ken Whisenhunt must help him come back as well.
I don't know if the Pittsburgh Steelers understand what it means to be Super Bowl champs. I don't know if they are ready as they go into all of these visiting stadiums for what they are about to see today in San Diego, what they're about to see. And maybe they should have gotten just a wince of it when they watched Cincinnati. And the way Cincinnati played them, and then the way Cincinnati played New England last week. That's what you'll be facing today in San Diego. What San Diego did to the Indianapolis Colts last year when they were 13-0 is exactly what they'll be bringing today.
They don't know what it's like to be Super Bowl champ.
They don't know what it's like to go into all these away stadiums and being Super Bowl champs.
It may not happen today, but don't forget, fellas, last year this team had 5 losses before they started their run. This is a solid football team. He's not playing his best football right now, and the Steelers know that. And it goes back to what Jaws said. Run the ball 40 times, throw it 20.
But you got to be able to move the ball.
Said that, Coach, not John.
Okay, but we agree while you're doing it.
You can't just hand the ball off. You have to get yards.
Of all the teams in the NFL, all 32 of them, this is the most important bye week of any team. Because they're the champs, because they're 1-2. And, Mike, as you suggest, they now know what they're facing. They saw it in Jacksonville. They saw it against Cincinnati. Ken Whisenhunt, Ben will play better. They'll be fine. Heath Miller, tight end. That's the way to get. It may not be great against the linebackers of San Diego, but this is the guy to get Big Ben rolling. Medium completions to the tight end. Everything else will fall in place. We have more news later on in the show from the Bronx, by the way, concerning the Yankees and Joe Torre. We'll go there as well and talk more football in just a moment.
A TO Time War. Terrell Owens' best moments, wired for sound as an eagle.
I know you don't want me to shine, but I'm I'ma shine anyway, because I love me some me. Believe it.
It's D-Day in Philadelphia. The Cowboys are there, and so is you-know-who. The main event looks at the other Cowboy Philly fans are waiting for. On the receiving end of many a Manning masterpiece, how Marvin Harrison has turned his job into an art form. Next. Who's in? Who's out? Brought to you by Coca-Cola.
Hey, McMillan, you gelling?
I'm gelling and zinfandelling, and so's my new bride, Helen McMillan.
I'm so happy my eyes are welling.
Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles are so soft, they make your feet feel outrageously comfortable.
I'm gelling.
You're so not gelling.
Dr. Scholl's.
Enjoying.
What do you think of that comment?
That's a good assessment.
It was definitely a slap in the face for me. As deep as people won't go into it, it was black on black crime.
On the quieter side of things comes the duo of Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. Harrison lets his numbers do the talking. In fact, last week he passed Andre Reed, fourth all-time, 956 catches. Today, Harrison should move into 8th all-time in yardage if the 4-0 Colts roll the 0-4 Tennessee Titans at home as expected. Harrison is a master in running the ultimate precise route.
Speed. Caught by Marvin Harrison, touchdown!
Precision.
Marvin's got it, touchdown! What a catch!
Technique.
What a catch by Marvin Harrison!
Illusion.
It don't make a difference what route it is, whether it's number 1 through 9. The one that's called for me to get the ball is the one I want to run. I'm going to run it perfect every time. Overall, I think it deals with the, giving the illusion that, you're going to do something that you're not.
You can bet your last dollar I'm a true baller. The way I move make the whole team wanna follow. I keep it smooth cause you know I gotta keep it poppin'. My team wins so you know we got our fans rockin'.
I'm running a shorter route, and they think I'm running shorter, but I know I'm going deep. So they may think I'm going out, but I'm going in. My job is to make him think that I have no clue of what he's about to do. And that's the illusion I try to give.
Manning down the middle, Harrison, touchdown! What a catch, what a throw, one and everything.
The only thing I'm looking for is the safety, really. Like the quarterback's relying on me to be in one specific spot. So it's my job to beat the defender and be at the spot at a certain time, so that we can make the completion. Quarterback's not even an issue. I don't need to know his number. I don't need to know anything else that he's doing. All I know is what I'm about to do. And that's about to get open and run as fast as I can and make the perfect break.
So the fruit is butter, baby, make the people go crazy. When the ball's in my hand, it's just simply amazing. Cause I'm Trump type, yeah, I can do this all night. Yeah, I'm Trump type, yeah, I can do this all night.
Some guys, if they're not trying to figure out what route I'm trying to run, they're just trying not to get beat deep. So at that point in time, we're playing my game.
10 years ago, Marvin Harrison drafted in the first round. He's going to pass in every one of his 158 games. You see his numbers, almost 13,000 yards, 110 TDs. Keyshawn drafted in the first round that year. T.O. drafted in the third round that year. Molds, Muhammad, pretty good year in the draft in 1996. Speaking of T.O., that 96 draft, we're going to talk a little bit about a book. I guess we're not going to do that quite yet. Here it is. The T.O.'s segueing right along. Little T learns to share. Now, by the way, this is going to be in the stores in November in time for Christmas.
Right.
Which you want to get it. And Little T learns to share.
You gotta be kidding.
Oh, come on.
It's a book.
It's a what?
What?
It's a kid.
It's a book. It's a plane. It's a
children's book.
So as we go to the no huddle
No
now, it's for real, I guess. Are you buying T.O.'s book for Christmas? I would take that as a no.
No, because I can't read Greek.
Yes, I am buying the book for my little boys.
I'm buying the book, and I'm also buying his second book, which is going to come the next year. Little T learns to say I'm sorry. And I'm buying both of them. And I'm going to get a good laugh with my daughters. We will have a lot of fun.
Well, you
with
are
that book.
embellishing.
Yes.
I didn't buy the first book. I'm not buying the second.
The Dewey Decimal System will never be the same. Rookie quarterback will have a better day today. Matt Leinart, first start. Vince Young, second start.
Vince Young.
Vince Young.
Matt Leinart going against Kansas City. Vince.
Kansas City got one of the best defenses in football this year.
Matt Leinart.
Don't
Not
embellish.
last year,
It's going to be a
Michael.
long day for both of them, but I'm going to go with you because you're the smartest guy I know.
Oh, well, that's
That
why
makes
you're
you
in trouble.
smart saying that.
Yeah.
More surprising, Yankees bounced from playoffs. Reggie Bush, no touchdown thus far this season.
Yankees bounce from
That's
playoffs
ridiculous.
is shocking.
It's shocking.
Shocking enough that Joe Torre may not be the manager by the end of the day.
Yeah, Yankees
$192 million shocking. Let's face it, that's shocking.
It's unanimous, Yankees.
That was an easy question. That we throw that play out. Is Edgerrin James right? Does he need more touches in the Cardinal offense? It's a dry heat.
He needs to sue that offensive line for non-support.
I was going to
That's what he
say.
has to do.
He needs the offensive line to make more touches.
The opponent.
Block somebody.
Best free agent signing thus far this year. Only a month in.
Steve
Drew
McNair.
Brees.
Steve McNair.
Steve McNair.
McNair.
Steve Hutchinson's good.
I'll throw in Darren Howard in Philadelphia, defensive end, helping him as well.
Had to be an Eagle.
No, just threw it in. I just threw it in.
Had to be an Eagle.
Quarter poll of the
Your house
season.
will be fine, buddy. Your
Quarter
house will be
poll of the
fine.
season. MVP of the season thus far.
Most valuable
Player to their team
Most valuable
would
player.
be probably what I said last year, Peyton Manning or Gross.
What about Steve Smith? A team that was 0-2.
He doesn't say multiple choice.
What about a team that was 0-2 without Steve Smith and 2-0 with him? Steve Smith.
Man, were you on his payroll
No
with T.O.?
huddle. We ran out of timeouts.
I just tell the people like the T.I.
Here we go. Here we go. Hey! Here we go. I have to do that every Little after 4 Eastern time today, Cowboys and Eagles, in case you haven't heard. You know what that means. The main event just could not avoid doing the story about the much ballyhooed return to Philadelphia by you-know-who.
He knows the fans will let him have it from the moment he steps off the team bus. A sellout crowd's venom directed solely at him. For this is the day he returns to Philadelphia. At long last, Al Singleton is back.
First, we're going to scream, then we're going to tell him, no, I don't think so. And then we're going to tell him, take that. One for the team, you little.
Al Singleton's crime? He played right here in Philadelphia for the Temple Owls from 1993 through 96. The team's record over that span, 5-39.
I went to every Temple game when he was there. I put it all on Al Singleton. Now, this was before the BCS, but we should have gone at least 6-38. Have some pride, Al.
I cheered my tail off for that team, okay? Do you know how humiliating it is to do the We've Got Spirit cheer week after week when you're getting your handed to you?
Singleton was drafted by Tampa Bay in 1997 and has been showing his disdain for all things Philadelphia ever since. As a rookie against the Cardinals, he blocked a Jeff Feagles punt and returned it for a touchdown.
I was there that day. Jeff used to putt for Philly. And Feagles, as you may know, rhymes with Eagles. And that should tell you something right there.
Singleton was also part of the Buccaneers team that beat Philadelphia in the 2002 NFC Championship, the last game ever played at the beloved Vet.
I was at that game. I remember it like it was 2 weeks ago Thursday. In the fourth quarter, Singleton had a vicious late hit out of bounds on McNabb. Worst cheap shot I ever saw.
That stadium is a parking lot now. A parking lot. Al Singleton may as well have been the one with the wrecking ball.
I think actually the Vet was imploded with explosives.
I was being metaphorical.
So now the day finally arrives. It's the most talked about comeback in Philadelphia since 2001, when former Philly catcher Bobby Estalella returned as a Giant and promptly laced a one-out, bases-empty single to left.
I was in the stands that day, too. It was bonkers. I go to a lot of games.
Al Singleton's going to pay for his transgressions. The boos are going to rain down on him like the bullfrogs in Magnolia. Did you see that movie? It's a really good movie.
Al Singleton returns to Philly, 4:15, along with T.O. and some other Cowboys. Now our tip drill. New Orleans has its second game at the Superdome. It'll have to go some, obviously, to approach the first one. At 3-1, the Saints have won as many games as they won all last season. Today, they host 0-3 Tampa Bay in action without quarterback Chris Sims. Into the fire steps rookie Bruce Gradkowski, 6th-round pick from Toledo. Golumpke for everybody, Jaws. Tommy, ready for another rookie, Reggie Bush, to do more now?
Well, I think they are. You know, head coach Sean Payton has done a marvelous job of using Reggie Bush as a decoy, but now the other guys have done what they needed to do. Joe Horn, Deuce McAllister, Colston, the offside receiver. So now I think we might be ready to see Reggie Bush used not as a decoy, but as the real thing. Look for his first TD today. Boom.
Tommy, after a big start, the Minnesota Vikings have fallen back to 2-2, but they host a divisional foe today that they've beaten 8 straight times. The 0-4 Detroit Lions. Detroit will be a better team at season's end, but so far, suffice it to say that the longer the Tigers play baseball, the better for the Lions. They have allowed Jaws touchdown at 31 points in 3 straight games. Their pass defense allowed 10 TDs, no picks. Jaws, on the Vikings side, what happened to Chester Taylor? We saw him look great on opening night.
Boom, no question. The Minnesota Vikings must get back to their identity, their stamp. Early in the season, the running of Chester Taylor. First 3 games, about 25 touches a game. Last week against Buffalo, only 10 rushes. 3 of those 10 lost yardage. If Chester Taylor is using that relentless, pounding running game, power running game, Brad Johnson's a much better quarterback in play action, Boom.
Jaws, the New York Jets are at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both teams now 2-2. Perhaps Coach Eric Mangini, so daring out of the gates with the Jets, will try on the opening kickoff what he did on the final play last week, a whoop fest of 9 passes, laterals, and fumbles. It was the most fun I had doing a highlight in years. Chad Pennington remembers last year's OT loss to the Jags. That was the early season game in which his shoulder was severely injured. Mike Pennington and good friend Byron Leftwich, quarterbacks and teammates at Marshall in this one.
Yeah, Boom, this is a battle between the 2 MAC quarterbacks, and I must give Chad Pennington and the New York Jets credit. They have played well this season, but today, Byron Leftwich will get right with his offense, and the Jags will strike early and often. Boom.
Well, Mike, you touched on it. It's a MAC quarterback mania day. 2 from Marshall. The Thundering Herd used to be in the Mid-America Conference. Gradkowski, we mentioned, Roethlisberger, and Cleveland's Charlie Fry from Akron. His 9th career start a week ago saw him engineer a comeback from 18 points down on the road. For an encore, the 1-3 Browns are asking him beat down the now moving Carolina Panthers 2-2 after an 0-2 start. And coach, 2 games, 2 wins, 17 catches for Steve Smith. Don't have to be a genius to figure it out, huh?
No, you don't have to be a genius. They're 0-2 without him. They're 2-0 with him. But I tell you what, I really like those young people with Cleveland. You got Winslow, you got Edwards, you got Fry. But they don't have a running game. And because they don't have a running game, they're going to be dominated on the field by the Carolina Panthers, who are going to move the ball on the ground because they do have a running game. 165 last week.
All right, Coach, thank you. We've got more here on football. We got the latest news from the Bronx concerning the Yankees. We'll be back.
The best of T.O. from his days in Philly. We've got vintage Terrell Owens wired for sound.
And I'm going to have a leg and they can't stop.
Plus, will Week 5 feature any big upsets? And which players will steal the spotlight on Sunday? Game picks, game breakers, and last-minute news on T.O.'s return. Next. Inside the Numbers. Brought to you by Visa. Go on, live life, and remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. You are watching Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
Welcome back to Sunday NFL Countdown. I'm Jeremy Schaap at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees limped home last night after losing their division series in 4 games to the Tigers. The Daily News now reporting that Joe Torre, after 11 seasons as Yankees manager, will be fired to be replaced by Lou Piniella. Piniella played here in the 70s, he managed here in the 80s, and of course he managed the Reds in 1990 to a World Series championship. We'll have more all day as the news develops, first on ESPN News and later on SportsCenter. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Jeremy. Sad day, certainly, in New York. Joe Torre, nobody classier. In Philly, 100 miles down the road, oh, there's a new doormat to get into the trailer. They're there, ready to go. Think about it. 2 years ago, it was all hunky-dory with T.O., a first-year Eagle.
Good morning. Top of the morning to you.
Terrell Owens out to the far side. McNabb's right. He's back. Looks to Owens. He's going for Owens in the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown! This crowd has gotten its first dose of McNabb to Owens, and they love it.
That's why I'm here, baby. Hey, they better double team me.
McNabb rolls. He looks. He's
Wide open.
firing. Touchdown! Terrell Owens, his third of the game.
That's what we're going to do all year, man. All year. Yeah! That's why I wanted to get out of San Fran. Huh? Talk to me now.
Back goes McNabb. He fires. He completes it to Terrell Owens. Breaks a tackle at the 5. He scores!
Now doing the Ray Lewis dance. He's doing Ray Lewis's dance in his face.
Let's go! They ain't ready for this. I'm in a league of my own. They ain't ready for me. I know you don't want me to shine, but I'm going to shine anyway because I love me some me. Believe it.
Well, they loved him, and well, they should have, especially the Super Bowl performance, heroic, legendary. How about a Columbus Day rush back down the highway to Philly and Ed Werder?
Well, Boomer, about 20 minutes ago, the first Cowboy buses carrying players to the stadium left. Terrell Owens, as is his custom, will be on the second bus, which leaves in about 40 minutes. Now, the buses will be taking an alternate route to the stadium from the one they followed a year ago because Bill Parcells was upset that the bus was hit by at least a dozen eggs thrown by Philadelphia fans as they circled the parking lot into the stadium. I talked to Cowboys wide receiver Terry Glenn a few minutes ago. He went through a similar homecoming on a smaller scale when he went back to New England. He said he'll be watching T.O. in pregame warm-ups. He'll be in his ear reminding him not to let his emotions get the best of him. And Boomer, a great line today from Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. I asked him, what will T.O. do if he scores a touchdown? How will he celebrate? He said, quote, I just hope he'll gauge the mood of the crowd before he does anything.
That's smart. It's smart. And remember, they had a nice breakfast last week. Maybe they had a good breakfast again this week. We'll see. Yeah. Michael had a nice week. You got the lead over Coach.
Yeah, I'm out there.
We are early after week 4. Mike with the lead over Coach and the gang. All right, here we go.
Start with it.
Geez, what the Cowboys and Eagles?
Eagles.
What do we think?
Cowboys, big game. Cowboys win.
Eagles, they have to win.
What do you think? Eagles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Redskins at Giants.
Joe Gibbs.
You know, I'm taking the Giants, so I think they'll put together a big game right here in this place and beat the Redskins.
Tom Coughlin finally learns how to coach, and the Giants win.
Coach's favorite quarterback, Mark Bell.
I say that in sarcasm.
So you're even up on that game. Jets at Jaguars, late kickoff, Jacksonville. Hot.
Going to be tough, but I got to take the Jags.
It won't be as tough, and I'm taking the Jags.
The Jets are playing great football. I'll take the Jets.
Ooh. Jags defense got pounded last week. It won't happen this week.
If they throw that throwback on the opening kick, that'll be great. Steelers, Chargers tonight.
How can you go against powder blue?
You can't.
Boy, this is a tough pick.
It is
tough. Why they paid me to make it. I'm taking the Chargers. I mean, I don't know if Pittsburgh's ready for that Super Bowl-like atmosphere.
Steelers had their bye week. Now's the time.
I think Marty opens up the playbook. Goes crazy, like 20, 25 passes. I like the Chargers.
Really?
Page 3.
Really?
Mort, your turn.
Talk about Dante Culpepper not starting again, not starting today, and Joe Harrington getting that start. Remember, Nick Saban signed Harrington in case Culpepper was not ready to open the season. Things were so smooth in preseason that they were fooled. In fact, Culpepper, yes, has a bruised shoulder. He's a little bit beat up, but he is slow getting back in the saddle. Slow decision-making, the timing has been off in the offense, and even though they have assured Culpepper that he is their long-term commitment, they were 1-3 with probably the easiest part of their schedule this year, and I think if Harrington plays well today, that he'll get more than one start, Boomer.
All right, well, we'll see, Mort. He certainly is a good studier. He certainly can move. Quarterbacks, last week we go to game breakers. We mentioned Charlie Fry. They were down 21-3. Kellen Winslow caught it. That led to a touchdown to Joe Jurevicius. 3 touchdown passes and a come from behind win. Charlie Fry, my number 3. I got to give the nod. See, these are not the big names. Damon Heward managing beautifully in relief of Trent Green. That's Dante Hall with a touchdown. That's Eddie Kennison with a touchdown. Heward gets my 2 last week. But Mark Bulger, no picks this year. If he only can find Joe Klopfenstein for a touchdown. Rams down. To Torrey Holt. How many times have you seen it? And then he caught them all last week. 41 points. That's Isaac Bruce Bulger, my number 1 quarterback last week. Charles, what about
Boomer, I'm going with the big names. Let's go to Peyton Manning. He's getting a little help now from the running game, Michael. And also, when you look at his success against the Titans the last season, 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. Big game for Peyton Manning. Boom, I'm stealing your guy here. Mark Bulger. He has been on fire. Over 1,000 yards so far this season, 5 touchdowns, and a big goose egg for interceptions. Being very judicious with the ball, Tommy. And my man, Donovan McNabb versus the Cowboys comes up big. 26 pass plays of 20 yards or more. Best in the NFL. Number 1 offense in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles. McNabb comes up big. Michael.
Skilled players last week. Steve Smith caught 10 balls as Carolina equaled their mark at 2-2 and knocked the Saints from the round of the undefeated. How about being involved with the flea flicker even? That led to a Drew Carter touchdown. 10 catches, Steve Smith. Number 2. I got a running back named Boney Moreeeee, and the rookie running back from Minnesota. Big time game for the Patriots, slashing and stiff-arming the Bengals. Moreeeee ran for 125 yards. Big running game, New England. But number 1, was there anything Santana Moss from?
Do you?
Didn't do. Mark Brunell, Moss, overtime. What? And he's gone. 4 catches, 3 touchdowns. The game winner. Santana Moss, number 1. Skills today, Mike.
I love those receivers, man. We were talking about great route runners, watching the Marvin Harrison piece. These guys are route runners. Torrey Holt, you see the great end route. Torrey's off to a good start. And I'm telling you guys, I love watching this guy because he is one of the best route runners in this game. I want to tell you another great route runner. Boom, you just finished talking about him. That's right, this guy, Steve Smith. Small guy. Up top, get you all the deep balls, but this guy's tough enough. He will go over the middle and make plays today versus the Browns. That's what makes him so great. Now, I want to tell you right now, this guy will have a big day. That's right, T.O. I don't run away from it. The truth is, big time situations like this, T.O. shows up big, Jaws, and that's exactly what he will do today.
Defense and special teams. You don't know his name as well as some of the other Ravens, but Bart Scott, linebacker, had 11 solo tackles, had the pick last week. The Ravens are 4-0. They stuffed LaDainian Tomlinson. It's had a big-time first quarter of the season. Jarvis Green, frontline New England. You know other names more than him. Green sacked Carson Palmer 3 times. That was the hat trick there. And here it is. Carson Palmer can't get away from Jarvis Green, who had 3 sacks. Big Patriots win, Tom. And Tommy Harris, we had a nice story about him. Whoa! That Hasselbeck, no shot. Tommy, how fast is Tommy Harris off the... Goodbye. Wow. He had 2 of the 5 Bears sacks. Tommy Harris, number 1 defensive special team top.
He's got pretty good closing speed. We're going to start with Antonio Pierce, who actually might know a little something about the Washington Redskins defense, even though the other guy might not have that playbook. Look for him to put the clamps on Clinton Portis. And then Roosevelt Colvin, a guy who got real close to about 4 huge plays last week. Now, he's going to be working against Harrington instead of Culpepper, but, you know, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. And then Brian Dawkins to match up with your T.O. I'm looking for Brian Dawkins to catch T.O. coming across the middle and try to discourage that route.
Coach, what's Coach looking at today?
Well, you got to look at Art Shaw. You know, he's the captain of the ship out there. He's got to take control of that ship. If it matters, if he has to push a couple guys off the ship, he's got to do it, but he's got to control that game.
Well, the Raiders going up against San Francisco in the Battle of the Bay. Coming up next, the Battle of Contender. We got a final word or two. Everybody picking somebody from that Philly-Dallas game. I like it. We'll be back.
Sunday NFL Countdown is presented by IBM. What makes you special? And in part by the Moreeeee. Friday, only in theaters. And Alltel Wireless. Want to choose who you call for free? Get My Circle from Alltel Wireless.
All right, got about a minute left here on Sunday Countdown. Philly hosting Dallas, a late kickoff. Expect Westbrook to play. I don't think Dante Stallworth. You can XO it. Philly's pass rush against Dallas's offensive line. That's what I'm watching.
All right, my key is going to be a fast start by the Eagles. They're outscoring their opponents 62-29 in the first half. Pass play calls, 74%. They got to start fast.
You know, they have problems in the secondary. You want to snap the snake at the head. That means that you want to pressure Drew Bledsoe so that he can't get the ball to T.O. and Terry Glenn.
Well, I said earlier, and I want to say it here. Dallas, you need to put a quick jiffy 14 points on the board and leave those fans like peanut butter in their mouth. Nothing. They can't say a word.
The key will be Brian Dawkins. It'll be a heat-seeking missile. Find him and hit him.
We have a heat-seeking missile on Monday night. Baltimore at Denver. We'll see you from Denver. We'll see you on the Blitz later. Enjoy the football for all of us. I'm Chris Berman. Have a nice day.
Only comes once a week.
Time to strap up for week 6.
Let's go, baby! Today's the day to go get some respect. We dominate today.
Division leaders clash in the Big Easy.
5, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Reggie Bush.
Will the Eagles soar over the surprising Saints?
It's gonna be physical, it's gonna be tough, you're gonna be tired.
The G-Men look to turn up the heat in Hotlanta against Michael Vick and the Falcons.
We gotta play our game. Put the smiles on your faces. This is a 60-minute ball game.
Can the Ravens bounce back with a win at home against the resurrected Panthers? The Rams' new-look offense looks to barrel over the defending NFC champs in St. Louis. Will the Steelers rise once again?
Nothing more than your best effort on every play.
Larry Johnson and the Chiefs storm the Steel City. Pride.
It's your will, man. It ain't the skill.
And passion.
Let's go, baby. Let's push that thing in.
It's all next on Sunday NFL.